issues with it?
No.
They are the ones who brought it up. I asked for it, they brought it up, they will be done.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks. Move on to 8C, consideration of adoption of resolution 2011-036, debt management policy, as provided for review at previous council meeting. See attached.
Other than Kathy putting resolution numbers on, they haven't materially changed because council didn't really express any change in what was a discussion item at the last meeting. If you've had other
We
thoughts,
just got them that night.
right? If you've had any thoughts between then and now,
Paragraph 4. I don't like the 6,000 number, I'd say it's 500.
What is the 6,000 based on?
it's
Yeah,
based
per
on.
capita.
Yeah, I understand, but where did you didn't just pull it out of the air?
No, it's a standard that Minnesota cities have tried to apply. It's sort of a best manager practice.
Well, now, this is the top end of the scale, 6,000.
The reason that you want to set it that high is in case you need to use it, and you're not right away violating the policy. I would urge the council to actually leave it at that amount.
Just because it's there doesn't mean you set it there.
Doesn't mean you have to reach that level.
Right.
Correct. We all know the situation we're in right now, following the floods and everything else that's needed to get done. Our debt per capita is high. We don't anticipate it's going to stay there. We'll show in August how it's going to be managed. But I wouldn't want to go into that meeting either approving this, if you want to lower it, you don't want to wait until we have that meeting. I didn't realize that would be an issue.
Which meeting?
The meeting with Mike Labani to go over our debt plan, our CIP plan,
Oh,
he mentioned.
yeah.
This is his recommendation. My discussion with him and my concurrence, that we would leave these numbers where they're at.
Well, we're over 4,500 now. We were 4,500 before we issued the last bond.
The biggest change, I think, for the council is the other resolution, 037, which limits your general fund between 50 and 60%. Because in the past, this city has had very high general fund balances, 90%. I think at one point it was 101%. Once again, the state auditor will say nasty things about us, but some people will look at that as though you're banking their money and not being frugal enough with it. I don't think it's terribly justified. The auditor also thinks it should be around 35%, which I think is way too low. 50% is a good number, but knowing that we've in the past had a padded amount, I think 60% is reasonable, especially in light of the fact that the state will tell you one thing and then give you something else.
But the general fund can be transferred to other funds.
Correct. Or other funds into the general fund.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna get above the 60%, move some of that money to the fund.
That's true.
All right, problem.
After all of our current debt that we've issued, just recently in the last few years here, what is the debt to capita ratio now? Or what is the dollar number that we're at right now? Is it
I think it's 4,500.
4,500 that Ted mentioned? Is that?
Yeah, that's what
That's what
Ronnie
Mike said.
That's what
Okay.
Ronnie said.
He doesn't recommend going much higher, but once again, I think the problem with policies is if you set them too stringent, then right away you're trying to violate it. And that doesn't serve its purpose. Once again, the intention here is we could show outside agencies that we have these policies, they're guidelines for us to use as we go forward in our budgeting process. And it's a triggering mechanism. You can say, wait a minute, we're getting close to this, we should rethink things.
Just so that we don't open the checkbook,
Correct.
you know? And just because it's there, somebody says, oh, hell, let's go for it,
Right.
you know? Because that'll just saddle everybody.
Yes.
Well, we've issued a lot of general obligation debt recently.
No,
We haven't.
no,
Those are all revenue.
revenue back by zero.
Okay.
That's where it hits the GO levy. But it's only triggered if the revenues don't meet expectation. What you're looking at for GO again would be the 43 project and the 43 levy. And I think there's one more street project, Kathy, one more area.
Yeah, but that's several years.
Yeah, that's a few years down the road.
The last two GL bonds you did were assessment supported and revenue supported. 2009 one was revenue supported and assessment supported and tax supported. So that was kind of a unique one. The 2011 one is assessment and taxes.
Assessment taxes.
What is the council's pleasure?
We can
What do
cer-
you recommend, Mr. Mayor?
I like the policy as written. I'm going by the staff recommendation. I support it.
Need separate motions for each
Well,
resolution?
we're on 36 right now.
If I could mention too, you mentioned the equipment certificate. I think that is allowable under number 1, where it says, you will not use debt to finance equipment purchases when it's possible to purchase the equipment on a pay-as-you-go basis with equipment replacement program or capital goods replacement plan reserve. So I think an equipment replacement program can be
It could be.
one of those. We've got 2 of those in place right now. The rescue rig and the ambulance. There's a 5-year finance plan for those 2, and we've only got 2 years of it left. We did that right after the flood. So we have done those before and found
Right,
it.
but we haven't had a policy that says you don't borrow money to buy equipment.
Right, but this policy is saying that in those circumstances you could, but it's preferred that we would set the money aside. But it's difficult to set the money aside when the state keeps taking it from us. Unless you wanna make deeper cuts elsewhere in the budget.
Language in paragraph 1, just a clarification for me. Capital improvements are projects that have a life of more than 4 years. Seems rather short for a capital improvement. And then,
Well, capital improvements or projects that have a life of more than 4 years. So